Thank you once again for being here. And look who I have to talk to. I have the very wonderful Michael Vaccaro, which I'm trying to pull myself together and not totally fangirl over because Michael's one of my favourite people. And I think basically the minute you see him in a vertical, you know it's going to be awesome because Michael's in it. So I'm going to ask Michael to give you all a little introduction and tell you a bit more about himself.
Well, that was so nice. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Michael Vaccaro, and I'm here on Vertical Drama Love to talk to you and answer your questions and have a good time.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite the Graham Norton show yet, so you're all right. So
Oh, oh.
one day I'll have a couch and you can all come and work. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So,
Yeah.
um, performing. You've also modelled as well. What came first when you were a child? What was the sort of first thing that inspired you and you watched and you saw and was like, I love this. I want to perform. I want to act.
Yeah. I never know how to answer this question because I honestly don't know.
Mhm.
It started as it's one of those things that I don't remember ever not wanting to do it or not wanting to be a performer or be an actor. I don't know where it came from. I don't have anybody in my family who is in show business. I don't remember any particular thing that I happened to see that made me think, oh my God, I have to do this. Um, I don't know. Do we believe in reincarnation? Maybe I brought it with me from someplace else, something else, some other person. I don't know. But it's what I don't, again, I don't remember ever not wanting to do this. And I must have expressed this to my mother. It was just my mother and I. And my mother was just unreasonably supportive, and took me to my first Broadway show, which I still remember. Um, and then, basically, I grew up in New York City. So my entire life growing up, my mother would send me to a Broadway show maybe once a week, maybe once every couple of weeks, something like that. I mean, like when I was a kid, I think the first show I was maybe 8 years old, something like that. But even before that, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And
It's a perfect answer. It was obviously just innately in you and it was always going to happen.
it
And then
was
you had the best
truly.
mum who was like, let's make it happen. I love that.
Yeah, I mean that's really the truth. I don't know. I wish I did.
Mhm.
I wish I could remember some moment. I certainly remember things that, afterwards that I saw that I thought, oh my, like propelled me to want to do something specific. But you know what I mean?
Did you put on shows yourself? Because I've had a few people on who said, they would organise the friends and they put on things, or was it more that you were trying to go into other people's productions and being part of it the world that way?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't remember doing that kind of thing. Like we lived in an apartment in the Bronx, so there was no backyard to build a stage. But,
Yeah.
but I don't really remember like putting on little shows or anything like that. I started working, when I was 8 years old. I got my first, I think I got my first job when I was eight. So I mean, I literally just started working as an actor, or
Wow.
I was a model. I don't know if you guys know Sears, the department store Sears. You
Yep.
remember that? Did you guys have Sears?
We didn't have it, but thanks to the movies we've heard of and know what a Sears is.
Sears was, had a catalog that came out. It was a big
Yeah.
deal. Like you get into the
Yeah.
Sears catalog. And so I did a lot of child modeling. And it was always like this was always the stance,
I love it.
that
Yeah.
was that whole thing. So I did a ton of that when I was really young. So yeah, so I just started working.
Did your mum keep them all?
The Sears
Yep.
catalogs? Did she keep them? Oh my God, no, I'm sure. No.
There'd have been too
No.
many.
Well, I think I got this from my mother because I don't know about you, but I am the exact opposite of a hoarder. Like I throw everything out.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's
Proper
gone.
light. Yeah.
And I travel light. And that's literally like I've gone to Europe with a backpack,
Yeah.
for like a month.
Mm.
I don't yeah. And so everything goes. So I got that from my mother. So if there were Sears catalogs around, I'm sure they went right into the garbage, even if I was in them.
Oh, I love that because actually, there's been whole loads of books. You were sort of minimalist before minimalism came in, weren't you? So yeah,
Well,
before they decided it
clean
was a thing.
surfaces. That's yes, as they say in AbFab. Clean surfaces, darling.
Oh, we could go. We could spend the whole thing talking about AbFab. We have to
Yeah,
stay on track.
let's.
So, that was interesting. You mentioned travel. When was the first time you left the USA? Then, when did you first travel?
Oh, I was a teenager, and because I was working as an actor, I got a credit card. And I was a teenager, and I think it was we can curse here, right? You said it
Yeah.
was, it was hot shit because I was a teenager. I was working, and I got an American Express card, which was, I mean, like I was like, oh my God. So I booked. So I just thought, okay, I have a credit card. I booked a trip to England. That was the first place I went because this is absolutely bananas. Because there were two things in the West End that I wanted to see.
Oh, and what do you remember? What they are? Were?
I do remember
Yeah.
what they are. Barry Humphries
Yes.
was
Good
doing a
choice.
show, of course, was doing a one-man show, but it wasn't just Dame Edna. It was a
Mm,
bunch of different characters that he did. Do
mm.
you do you do you remember? Like, I want to say one of the characters was I think his name was Lester, and I think he had some sort of relationship with Dame Edna.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Maybe.
was a staple when I grew up on the yeah, on the TVs. He was
So
always a favourite.
Barry Humphries was doing a show, and I had somehow found Dame Edna. I swear to God, I don't know how, but I was like, "Oh my God, this guy is a genius." So I booked a ticket to see Barry Humphries, and there was on the West End there was a revival of a Stephen Sondheim musical called Follies, starring Julia McKenzie and Diana Rigg.
Diana Rigg. You saw Diana
Uh,
Rigg. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and that I mean that was
And
one of those
I know. I think I
things.
know who Julia Mackenzie is as well. In which case,
Yeah,
wow, nice.
that was one of those things that definitely, like, changed my life and changed the trajectory of my thinking and what was possible. That production of Follies was absolutely just stunning. And I also realized that you could eat ice cream during an intermission. I thought that was brilliant
So yeah,
because
so between Diana Rigg and ice cream, we had you.
we don't do that here. Like, I was like, oh my God, they're selling ice cream sandwiches in the intermission in the theater. I was like, I'm hooked. So yeah, so whatever year that was, I was a teenager. That was my first time leaving the country, leaving the United States. I went to England.
So, what is the story then from you modelling as a child to then becoming an actor, and how does that take you into verticals?
Oh gosh, well, because I'm 95 years old. So
This
again,
whole life story.
I've been doing this for a long time. And I've never stopped working. So, I'm trying to think. I think I got a job in a film. I think it was somewhere some year in the 70s, something like that. Um, with a director named Robert Altman. And so I just started working.
Name drop. Yeah, very good one. Name drop.
I'm sorry. Should I
No,
do
I
that?
love it. That's what we're here for. Go
Was
big,
that
Michael.
was that just horribly pretentious of me to do? Oh,
No,
sorry.
perfect.
So so yeah, and again, so that was in the 70s. So that
Mm.
was so just that was it. I did a ton of theater in New York. I started out mostly doing musical theater, musical comedies and stuff like that. Um and then I did, I don't know, we have summer stock here. What would that
Mm.
be called when they go around the country in
Kind
England?
of travelling shows. It hasn't really got a name in the way that Summer Stock does.
Yeah. So I
I
would do
know
like
what you
lots of
mean.
regional theater, lots of summer
Mm.
stock, lots of, off Broadway in New York, lots of and off Broadway and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that just continued for, I mean, honestly, my whole life. I think now I'm in Los Angeles. I came out to Los Angeles in my 20s, my mid to late 20s, the first time. And I decided that I wanted to live in Los Angeles because the day I got here, it was 82 degrees here and it was 17 degrees in New York. So I was like, yeah, See you later. I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
New York. It's the greatest city in the world, but yeah, goodbye.
Yeah. So the heat and the sunshine was what appealed. Yeah.
I am my astrological sign is Cancer,
Mm.
and so I need to be near water, and
Yep.
which means that I need to be on a beach,
Hmm.
so that I could get into the water. Um, and so yeah, you can't do that in December in New York City. I mean,
Yeah.
some
I've been
idiots
told
do
New
it.
York is brutally cold. So
Brutal.
yeah.
But I mean, you're in England. I mean, that's not exactly tropical. So
Yeah, but we don't really do anything in extremes. It's all just a bit. It's a bit windy. It's a bit wet. It's a bit
windy.
sunny. We don't. Nothing's. It's mainly just grey. It's
That's
just.
gray, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. I would get seasonal depression. So, gray and clouds and rain. I just like, I can't handle it.
A successful actor, done all sorts of things. Is there a devil's advocate of why are you doing verticals? Surely you're too good for verticals. What happened?
A devil's advocate. A reason why I'm doing verticals. I enjoy eating
Yeah.
food, which often costs money,
Mm.
and my landlord enjoys it when I pay the rent.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is the state of my industry at the moment. I don't know if anybody else who you've spoken to has talked about, the situation here in Los Angeles at the moment, or just in my industry in general. It's not great.
It'd be
Um,
good if you could expand on that a bit, yeah, because no one's ever really talked about it in detail. So if you would
yeah,
happy
I mean,
doing that,
Los
it'd be really
Angeles
useful.
was sort of the entertainment capital of the world
Hmm.
for decades and decades and decades, as we know. It's not so much anymore. And there are a lot of factors. COVID was a factor, certainly. And then last year or 2 years ago, I can't even remember now, the Screen Actors Guild went on strike and the writers went on strike. So that did a lot of damage. And then, of course, recently we had, massive fires all over the city, especially in an area called Pacific Palisades, where a lot of actors and creatives and producers and all that stuff live. So there are a lot of factors as to why, and taxes. Um, so there are a lot of reasons why there's not a Los Angeles. I don't think is a central hub anymore. Um, there was this wild article quite a few months ago. It was the headline was something like 4 out of 5 scripts are now not shot in Los Angeles. So, which means 1 out of 5 scripts is shot in Los Angeles now. And they're shot all over the country, all over the world now. COVID, one of the things that happened during COVID, I think, is people realize they don't need to be in Los Angeles because now we self tape. We do exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So I can live in Nevada, I can live in, Bangkok, I could live in wherever I wanted to live, and I could self-tape. And if I get a job, I get myself to wherever the location is, or they get me there. Um, so yeah, so that's the situation right now. This a lot of the studios have moved out. There's been this mass exodus of crew and actors and all that stuff. So then I guess I think it was during COVID. Um, this thing called verticals sort of happened, and I got offered a job in one of them and literally have not stopped working since. And that was I think it's been about 2 years now.
Wow. If you don't mind just going back, because it's just
Yes.
this is really helpful because I don't think we always understand as sort of fans or people who are potentially new to this. You said that the Screen Actors Guild strike and the writers' strike did damage. Was that again partly the thing of just people then looked elsewhere to work and sort of led to this diaspora out of Los Angeles? And is that what you mean by saying it did the damage?
I mean, well, it did damage in the sense that they went months and months and months and months without creating content. The
Hmm.
studios did, the
Yeah.
networks did. So they had to sort of rely on other things. They had to, they went to the internet. They came up with, they all jumped on this vertical bandwagon, as it were. Things that they could do while the actors were on strike. Um, uh, Obviously, when there's a strike, they always the first place they go is reality TV. But even reality TV was sort of not doing as well anymore. Um,
Oh
And
yeah, no,
there are a lot of issues with the Screen Actors Guild and the contracts that were signed, and there are issues with AI, and there are issues with residuals and all that stuff, which just makes the working situation just that much more difficult here.
I just want to say thank you because I know that's getting a bit more detailed, but I think it's really useful for fans to understand because obviously what we have picked up is that verticals is this massive opportunity and is basically allowing a lot of people to make rent and to eat because that's where the jobs seem to be and where the growth seems to be and where the money seems to be going now. So you got your first vertical. Was it basically obviously the scripts and the style? Were you prepared for that?
In fact, I was because many years ago, again, a million years ago, um, when TV was only in black and white and had three channels, I used to be on a soap opera. And this was again back in the day before computers and phones and all that stuff, or smartphones. We actually had phones land that attached to the wall. Oh my God. Anyway, I was on a soap opera, and so back then I don't know if you remember, like you would get a messenger, like a guy on a bicycle, would go from the studio at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, and get on his bicycle and go to your house and hand you a big package with your script for the next day. And sometimes there were 60 pages of dialogue that at 9 o'clock at night you had to learn and be on set at 7 in the morning.
Wow.
And it was a soap opera style. You did it in a very specific way. So when I did my first vertical, I was like, oh yeah, this is a soap opera. This is a telenovela, and and we're shooting 10 pages a day. So you get one chance, maybe two chances to get it right, and then we're moving on. So yeah. So I think I was prepared for it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting and possibly why I think you've been brilliant from the beginning because you just
Huh.
got the concept and always brought it in. So now I'm gonna have to look at my phone because I need IMDb. So
Okay.
obviously you have been in a lot of verticals. Do you keep count? Do you remember how many you've been in?
I want to say it's something like 25 at the moment, right now.
Cool.
I
Silver
don't.
anniversary. I feel there should be a little congratulations on 25. Um, So one of the ones that stand out for you, I love you in Dear Husband, Delete My Number because they're trying to make a movie within the vertical, and you are Quentin the director who
Right.
you
Thank you.
just want to make a movie, and then you've got Sarah Milisky being her genius self and being
Yes.
full on as Stella, and then you've also got the lovely Sarah Noel as Emma, and basically it's I do love it when you have your what I call the one man nervous breakdown. Basically, just wants to make a movie and is just stuck with all this chaos going on around him. Do you
Dear
have any
husband,
memories
yes.
from that set?
I do. This was so great because I love to do comedy, and that was one of the sets where the director was like, you know what, just go bananas, just improv, think outside of the box, just do whatever you want to. And what I remember is they gave me glasses to wear, but they were fake, and they didn't have any lenses in them, so they were. And so at one point while we were shooting, I actually took my finger and I went through the glass into my eye, and I was doing something, and I thought for sure, oh, they're just gonna cut and tell me to do that over again, without that bit. Um, but they loved it. The director loved it, and they said, "Oh," and they said, "Do more." So when I was exasperated, I had these glasses on, but I would put my fingers through the glasses and do this, a lot of that. So there was a lot of stuff like that. That was a really fun set. Sarah was great. Daniel Bateman.
Yes.
He was on there with me, and of course the other Sarah as well. Yeah, that was a really fun set.
So I'm just gonna go through some of my personal highlights.
Please.
I have to talk about your Comedy Gold nominated role. I mean, it's just genius. I mean, basically, you're in one scene, but I think you make that entire thing. So it's Fake It Till You Love Me,
Take it
which
to.
is Sophia DeLucci and Luke Charles Stafford.
Yep.
And your role as Tony Hanson is ostensibly quite sensible, in that you were trying to do a makeover.
Yeah.
It is probably now. This is high praise for me. Okay, I think it's better than the makeover scene in The Princess Diaries,
Wow. Well, that's
and
what
that
they
is an iconic scene when he breaks that hairbrush, and I think you outdo it. So that is how good it is.
that wow. Okay, well, thank you because well, that's what they kept saying during that scene. And I'm gonna say something horrible right now. I've never seen The Princess Diaries. Um, so they kept so the director oh, it was Daniel
Yeah,
Russell was the
yeah,
director who I've worked with a few times.
yeah.
And and he said, you know, it's like that scene in Princess Diaries. I was like, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm.
So yeah, so the great thing about that was, well, first of all, I love. I've done this a few times on verticals where I literally just come in for a day and just like do a bananas over the top cameo,
Mm.
and then I go home. Um, I love those things.
Yeah.
I love Sophia. She is just like hilarious and sweet and adorable and like a dream to work with. So we just again, Daniel, the director, just said like, yeah, let's just have fun, like just come up with stuff. And we had a great fun day. We got along really well. And is let me think if that's Mayor Mulroney. You know Mayor Mulroney? She's and I know Mare for years now from outside the verticals. And so we both got to work on that one together, I believe. Yes. And again, a really fun one. And uh, what I remember about that one is that there's a shot of me with contact lenses that I have to put in Sophia's eyes, right? Got to do that thing. Yeah, and she totally freaked. Um, and
Sure.
so we were doing that for, we were doing that forever and just laughing hysterically through the whole thing.
I have to
And then I'm
ask,
sure I'm sure Luke sang something while we were there that day, I'm sure.
with the accents, do you get given that direction, or is it just this is what it feels like in the moment? I'm doing this accent.
That one in particular, they said they wanted me to do some kind of accent
Mm.
and so I thought and again they said, just go crazy with it. So I thought, what if I did like a really inconsistent accent, because this guy, Tony Hansen, is completely and utterly full of shit. So what if I just come up with some accent that's quite obviously fake and just a put on. And so I remember when I saw it, like even I didn't know, like, what am I doing? What is that? What? I don't know. So yeah,
I think
but I
that's
like doing
yeah,
I
it's
like
really
doing
good.
ridiculous accents. I did a vertical called I think it's something like Playboy becomes my play toy.
Hmm.
And I got to the set first day that morning, and they said, "Can you do an Eastern European accent?" And I said, "No, no, I can't." They said, "Well, you have to." I was like, okay. So
You're running a nightclub, aren't you? And you're kind of a pimp. You get a bit of redemption because you end up kind of. I really like that one because you end
I
up really having a whole father-daughter really wholesome moment.
I started out
It's
as quite a
lovable.
terrible person, and I forced my niece, who is it? My niece has cancer, and she needs
Uh,
cancer treatment, and she can't afford it. So, but I pay for it, but I forced her to become a prostitute. I don't know. But yes, at the end, yes, I believe in that one. There is a moment where I finally say, "Oh, okay, you don't have to be a prostitute anymore." You know,
for a vertical villain, that's pretty much a big character arc. It's very good.
that's a character arc in the vertical world. That's hilarious.
And talking about vertical villains, obviously in Wild for My Boy Toy, poor old Candace.
Candace, I get to sexually molest Candace. Um, another great person to work with. She is gorgeous and just sweet and fun, and yeah, we had a great time shooting that one. Yeah.
How do you find those when you have to go in and because obviously you have played a few, that more kind of I guess aggressive or nasty character. Like,
Yeah.
do you enjoy doing that? Because I mean, we all love you for the comedy, but I think it actually makes it more powerful when because we know you for that then you're doing something that's not comedic.
100%. I love playing villains. So much better, so much more interesting. Even in this world where things are pretty much, sort of have their sort of, very basic formula. But even so, even so, the yeah, the villains are so much more fun to play for me. I would absolutely much rather do a villain than play, a good guy. Yeah,
Okay,
unless if
so
I'm doing I like doing comedy, of course, and I like playing the
mm,
big, super over the top comedic stuff.
mm,
Um, but yeah, but villains are great. Oh my
right.
God. And yeah, I just relish.
So we need more villain roles. Okay, so what I want to talk about next is a billionaire's matchmaker, because obviously I would say for most of the ones there we know and love you, but it's kind of you're in and you're out. And I would say billionaire's matchmaker is quite different because you play basically it's Violet's dad, isn't it? Ethan Hayes' dad, Mr.
I
Hayes.
I played Jeff's
And
dad
it's
in that.
so good. It's such a good show on so many levels. But what's really nice is they take the father son relationship a bit further than what it is initially of, dad, like, I need an heir, can you get married? But then we
Yeah.
find out why, and then he stands up to you. And I mean, we've talked about it, but you have this amazing scene at the end in the hospital where like both of you transcend the material and it's phenomenal. I just want you to talk about it because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeff, I know you've interviewed Jeff.
Mm,
I love Jeff. It was really great working with him, and it was a great experience. Yes, because I was there for most of the shoot.
mm,
It wasn't just me coming in and doing a cameo or something. And yeah, I thought again we had a great director who gave us time. This is the one thing we do not have in verticals usually is time. Uh, but Casey, the director, like really gave us time to like sort of breathe and put some air into it, and we were able to rehearse a lot, which is it's just not unheard of rehearsals. And Jeff and I think both of us were really committed to, finding the truth in those scenes, and finding an emotional connection between these two characters, and you don't get these moments often as an actor. But yeah, that one scene that you're referring to in the hospital was really again, they gave us time, and it was really a chance for us to really feel it and really just sort of be in the moment. And I know Jeff enjoyed it. I mean, I know I enjoyed it as well. It was great. Yeah.
I think it's just nice for viewers to just see a bit more of that kind of relationship, and also what obviously a lot of vertical characters fail to do, which is communicate. And it's just
Yeah, and it was
you
it
actually
was
tell each other how you're feeling and where your position is, and then oh look, communication works. They both come
and
out of it with a bit of relationship.
yeah, and speaking about Jeff for a minute, it's always great to work with an actor who's interested in like exploring stuff and interested in finding those moments and finding what that relationship is like and finding the connection and all that stuff. Um, that's also rare. Like I really liked working with Jeff a lot.
Well, I'm very fond of Jeff. So I have to talk about another one that you've been in, which I would say has been a bit of a hit, because there have been a lot of love for this one, which is Oops, I Married My Enemy. So you are Cornelius Hartley, you're trying to run your firm, you want to retire, someone's going to be a CEO, and Victoria Lockhart and Gavin Springs are up against each other, and chaos ensues, I think it's fair to say, is the plot. Um, Again, that's great because you just get given so much more to do. I think
Uh, yeah,
we
well,
just love it. Yeah.
the three of us worked together before. Ashley and Noah and I are in Escorting the Heiress.
Oh, that's like old school, but yes, very good
That's
one.
that's what I think like 2 years ago. That's one of the
Yeah.
first ones I did, I believe, where the three of us worked
Mhm.
together. And then I briefly worked with Noah again. Like again, it was one of those things where I just like showed up one day in Virgin's Bucket List.
Yeah.
I love Noah. I'm the president of the Noah Fernley fan club. And we really get along great. I love Ashley too. And so the three of us being able to work on this one um, was great fun. I love the people at the Shorts app. right? I mean, because there
Yeah,
are a whole
you're
bunch
doing
of
great
apps,
stuff there. Yeah.
a whole bunch of apps, and they're nice and they're generous and kind and fun to work with, and they are really interested in doing like good stuff. I think they really want to like get out there with good material. And yeah, I had a lot of fun on this set, and again, working with Noah and Ashley, both of them was great, great, great fun. And again, the director, a woman named Ira, she sort of gave me permission to just go bananas, you know, and and I always appreciate that.
Because there's one that I'm sure you improv. There's a line fairly early on where you turn to your wife and say something about her being very tall, and it's like, I'm sure you improvised that. Was that correct?
I did. Again, this was so when they allow this stuff to happen. You get on some sets and they're adamant about like, okay, listen, you have to say what's in the script, word for word. But then there are others like this one where they were like, uh, you know, which was a compliment to me because I believe that they trusted me, and so they said, yeah, Michael, you know just jump in and do what you want and see what works. We'll see what works. So yeah, I improvised almost everything I said in that one.
That's
And I
amazing.
and yeah, and there's again, I turn around and there's this Amazonian beauty playing my wife. I felt like, you have to acknowledge this, Here I am. I look like a little person next to her. So I felt like, okay, I have to say something.
It's brilliant. And then I have to go as well about you're obviously given quite a lot of looks in your movies. A lot of different things are done with your hair in verticals. How much input do you get in that, or are you just like wardrobe, like this is our vision, Michael, this is what's happening?
Generally, I let them do what they want. If I come in and they have an idea about what they want, I'm generally pretty good about that. Um, yeah, and for Oops, I mean, they completely straightened my hair, and I didn't recognize myself. Like, I just thought, I looked at myself, I was like, what? Who? What? Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really different.
it's
Yeah.
really different, and my hair is straightened sort of right now for another one that I have coming up. Um, and uh, but yeah, but pretty much I'll let them do whatever they want because I actually like to look as different as possible in any job that I do. I just like that idea.
You enjoy the process as well.
Yeah, I like being in hair and makeup, and I like looking different, and I like putting on crazy accents and stuff. I like doing all that stuff.
So, as well as that one, which obviously is brilliant and everyone needs to go watch it, you've also had recently, you've ticked off two more things I would say on the Vertical CV because you've done not only a werewolf one, but you've done a vampire one as well. So, having done both, can you talk through the different mindset for a werewolf and a vampire vertical? What is
And
needed?
they both came out around the same day, just within like days of each other. So the werewolf one was,
That's you and Anna DeRusso
yes,
and
and
Cayman.
and Cayman,
Yeah.
right? And let's see, I was the elder werewolf, um, and also like in this one too, a bad guy who sort of finds redemption at the end, a little bit, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was fun to do. The vampire one, the vampire CEO, like I was so excited about that one. When I first saw the title, I was like, Vampire CEO. That could be really fun. Unfortunately, I wasn't playing a vampire in it. I think I sold my daughter to the vampire, right? But Sarah Maliski is in that one with me, of course, because I always love working with Sarah. We've done a bunch together.
Yeah.
Sarah and I have done a bunch together. So she's in Vampire CEO. Um, I mean, both of them were super fun. Um, and yeah, I would love to do more of those. I would love
What
to actually play a vampire, just like get those teeth
we
in
need
there.
that. I think we need you full villain, full vampire. I feel this could. I think you'd be really terrifying because I don't think anyone's actually managed to do a proper terrifying vampire yet. And I
Well,
think you
that's the
could.
thing. I would love to, yeah, I would love to kill a whole bunch of people.
So yeah, I have to ask about the sets as well, because obviously that's one of the things that I think as fans we love about verticals, and that obviously if it's in real world, you've got these astonishing houses. And then also, I mean, with the alphas, the werewolves, you sometimes have these beautiful like country lodges or woods or cabins. Um, what are the interiors like? What is it like to walk into some of those buildings and film in them?
Well, first I will tell you, when you said that, I actually thought you said sex instead of sets. I was like, you want to ask me about the sex? Okay, let me think. Let me think of who in the vertical world I've had sex with. Let me think. Okay, I'm sure there are a few. But the sets, yes, the sets on both of those. There's a most of the things are shot on location. The werewolf one, we was far away in was I think it was it a place called Simi Valley, which is outside of Los Angeles, and this house up in the mountains, where you walked in and you think, oh yeah, this is definitely where a werewolf could live, and or maybe does live, in fact. Yeah, it was a really old uh, house that we shot in, and the owner of the house was there, and I was talking to him for a little bit, and he actually built the thing from scratch, like for years and years and years, just kept sort of adding on to it and adding on to it. Um, the vampire one, we shot this in a house actually here in Beverly Hills, so very close to where I am, and yeah, that was. And I've shot in that house a few times, and it's great because every time I'm in that house, I sort of sneak off. I'm not supposed to do this, so don't tell anybody. But I sort of sneak off and just go kind of exploring into the house and like going through stuff. And yeah, that vampire house is actually my favorite, I think.
So I just want to go back because obviously you mentioned that you worked with Noah and Ashley on Oops, I Married My Enemy, and obviously you worked with them about 2 years ago. What is it like? Obviously, all three of you, having been in the vertical scene since early on and seeing how much it's evolved and grown, kind of what are your perspectives? I guess the three of you, is that a conversation you have of like whoever thought it would get as big as it's got, whoever thought, the scripts would move on?
Yeah, we do talk about this. I have definitely had this conversation with a few people. I'm pretty sure I've had this conversation with Noah, where it is kind of astonishing how popular they've become, and how it's sort of like the thing, right? Yeah, and I think we're all sort of happy that we've all gotten into this on this level, sort of at ground level, basically. I do think obviously it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think at some point it is actually like really gonna just explode. Um, and of course now, we're filming all over the world. They're filming a lot of these, of course, in China, where it sort of originated. But there are tons of productions now shooting in Turkey and Istanbul and in Mexico and in Lithuania is another place that people are going. Like they're shooting these things all over the world. So maybe we'll shoot one in London. We'll come see you. We'll come to the set and have lunch. Um, so yeah, we talk about this a lot. We talk about they're all sort of like, this is okay to say. They're all they're pretty formulaic at the moment.
No, it's fair to say. Yeah.
But I also I do believe that there are definitely ones that kind of stand out, and I do think we're sort of on the verge of now, like, one, somebody is going to create one of these, somebody's going to write one of these things that's just different enough from all the rest that it's really going to like sort of move everything to the next level, and then everybody is going to have to sort of follow that. But I think we're close. Um, I think it's only been a few years, so I still think it's kind of a new sort of part of the industry. But I think we're close to like really like expanding and having something really big happen, something different happen. Somebody's going to write a great script that's really going to elevate the entire thing, I think.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I think we can see it already as fans in just the quality this year and the amount of ones that are trying new things and they're experimenting and they're trying to add more depth or they're trying to, they're
I
trying to
think
add more with the production values. And obviously, You know, with
Obviously, the
their own
production values
stores.
have gotten much different just in the last 2 years. Like, obviously, that's a huge leap. I also think you guys, the fans, have really made a big difference in this. I know your thing is, and I am on this 100% with you. The whole thing about depicting sexual abuse and misogyny. Um, it sort of became a joke for me, at least. Like, oh my God, which woman am I going to slap this time? And it's I make a joke out of it, but the fact is, yeah, I don't know that I want to slap women. Maybe we should stop slapping women. That would be great.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
we should want
agreed.
some more diversity. How about that?
Yes.
Have people other than billionaire white people. Maybe we should, maybe we should have. Can we have more like LGBTQ plus storylines? Can we have but I think these things are coming. It's inevitable. And the more that the fans make their voices heard about this kind of stuff, I think the quicker it'll happen.
That's really helpful to know because obviously that's one of the things I'm like, tell me what we need to do. And then, yeah, because I know that we're the ones that hopefully can get listened to. So that's really useful. So thank you
I
very
think
much for
they,
that.
I mean, and to their credit, these companies, I think they do listen.
Excellent. So, going forward, what
Yeah.
projects have you got that we can look forward to coming up?
Well, I still have I think I have like two or three verticals that I've already shot that have yet to come out. Um, I just did one recently with Alexa Reddy. Do you know Alexa? um, who I love, and we've actually worked together before, like, before Verticals. I played her dad in something some years ago. So I do have, I think, two, possibly three Verticals that I've shot that haven't come out yet, and I am about to start shooting one in, I want probably a couple of weeks. I don't know that I can tell you too much about it, but I do think it's one of those ones that's going to be different. It is. I will tell you, this is the first time, certainly in the vertical world, that I will do anything like this, which is I'm about to do something really physical.
Okay. I like that. Just,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess.
I don't,
I
so
guess.
I don't want spoilers. I like just a tiny bit
Okay.
to leave me hanging. So, yeah, that is
Okay.
perfect.
Good.
Well, we'll have to look out
That's
and let
that's
me know
all
what
I'll
you think.
say. Something. I think with a fair amount of violence in
Yeah.
it, but it's something very physical, something that I have not done, certainly in the vertical
Yeah.
world yet. Yeah.
Um, what would you like to do? I mean, you've talked that you'd like to do more villain roles. Are there other things that you're like, I would love to a chance to explore this, whether it's in
In the ver-
verticals
in the
or just
vertical world,
generally? Yeah.
in verticals.
In
Uh,
verticals, but also, I mean, horizontals as well. I mean,
oh,
as
okay.
fans, we do accept that you all have ambitions beyond verticals. So,
Yeah, well, yeah. I will be in Europe pretty soon because I'm going to Germany to do a film. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah.
which I'm excited about because it's a really great part, a really great director. I'm very excited about it. Um, in verticals, I'll say it. Part of me almost doesn't want to say it because you put something out into the ether and then all of a sudden. But here's what I want to do. I want to be in a vertical musical.
Yes, because the fans all want a vertical musical. We desperately want a
Right? I
musical.
mean, I can't believe we're not doing a musical.
Because
So
what would be better for going viral on TikTok than clips from a vertical musical?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I just think it's a no-brainer. And I'm a singer. That's where I come from. I come from a musical theater background, so That's what I did for years and years and years. I sang and I danced, and so I want to be in a musical if Vertical does a musical. I also think that you had said this about the vampires. I don't really feel like there has yet been an actual like real full-on horror movie type Vertical. I want to be in a horror movie.
Yeah. And to me,
Uh,
that just makes total sense because I always go back to the Blair Witch Project. Horrors are known for the made on a small budget, it doesn't matter. And then the immediacy of being on the phone and you're going to bring in a new audience. It just seems a win-win for me.
100%. So those are the two things that I've been thinking
Yeah.
about that I would like to be able to do in a
Yeah.
vertical. Yeah,
Can I throw out another idea to you, which came to, well,
please.
it's not my idea. It came from, I was talking to Sean McHugh yesterday. We think pirate vertical.
A pirate vertical.
Yes, I could see you. And then we went to Pirates of Penzance, so we could combine the
Got it.
musical with the pirate. But
So
I could see you.
can you, well, that means I'd have to do a really bad British accent, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you had a whale of a time with it. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because they obviously there's my favourite thing is that someone obviously discovered an airplane to film on
Yes.
because then it was like we've had the whole run of what can we do with our vertical male lead? Let's put him in a pilot's uniform. That's attractive. Give him aviators. Look, he's on the plane. So it's like all
Yeah.
we need is someone to find a boat, and then we can have the run of pirate verticals.
Yeah, and an ocean to put it on. I mean, because inevitably that means that Vaccaro is going over the side and going to end
Yeah.
up in the ocean somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, you're prepared for the stunt that will happen.
Hey, I guess. I
Oh,
guess it's
you need to
it's
come to
not the first
England.
time I will be thrown off a boat in front of a camera.
You need to come to England for that because it's fairly near me. There's a place called Chatham Dockyards,
Okay.
which are like an old dockyards, and that's where they film a lot of the basically it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Basically, anything that's got seafaring in it is often filmed there.
Got it.
So, yeah,
Am I allowed to ask? I don't want to give out any information. You are north of London. Do I remember that
I'm
correctly?
southeast of London, so I'm in
You're,
Kent.
oh, south. Wait a minute. South. Let me think. My brain. South is that way. East is that way. So, but you're not
I'm
near
closer
Cornwall.
to France than I am to Scotland.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's like
Got
it's an
that.
hour's drive to the coast, and I can see France across the channel. So,
Because I've been down to I've been to Cornwall, which was absolutely just incredibly beautiful. The cliffs. I remember the first time I was there, again, a million years ago. It was, I think it was like 50 degrees, let's say, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Um, but for me, that was cold. But all you Brits were out on the beach in your bathing suits, like getting some sun. I was like, these people are crazy. Oh my God. But it was like, I spoke to somebody. He's like, yeah, this is like, the 3 days of good weather we have. So yeah.
yeah, particularly in Cornwall, it's either that or it's just non-stop rain and mist. So, yeah,
Oh my God. But it was absolutely beautiful. And the water and the coast and the cliffs and all of that stuff was absolutely Tintagel. Have you ever heard of Tintagel?
that's one of my favourite places. It's
Oh my
stunning.
God. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Anyway, yeah, so I'm more than happy to come to England and do a pirate vertical
brilliant.
or a
And I
pirate
just
horizontal or a pirate diagonal, whatever.
okay, I just want to ask you finally about Italy.
Yeah.
You did my Meet the Creatives. You mentioned that have you got your Italian citizenship? Where you were
No,
quite
I'm in the process of doing that because my parents, both sets of parents and their parents also were born in Italy. So I'm in the process of getting my Italian citizenship. Yeah.
and do you know is there an Italian vertical industry yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because that would be great, wouldn't it? I was thinking if you could go to Italy, be on the coast with the Italian food, making verticals. I
Yeah,
mean,
wouldn't that be terrible if I had to go to Sicily to do a vertical? Oh God, what an inconvenience that would be. Ugh.
yeah, okay, well, we're going to manifest that. That needs to happen.
All
Um,
right.
I just want to finish and say thank you so much because you've been so generous with your time and you've really explained quite a few things that I wanted to know more about. So huge thanks, Michael, for everything you do.
My pleasure. It was so fun being here. So fun talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, and yeah, have a brilliant rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Bye.